Hey, I'm Fight the Flat Earth and welcome back to the channel that introduces stupidity to chemical decomposition. This is episode 20 of Flerfs Are Idiots, and today we ask the question, why do you idiots keep recording these videos in your cars? Is it because your loved ones, assuming anyone could love a flat earther, is it because they don't want you spouting your moronic shit in the house? And for fuck's sake, pay attention to the road! Anyway, join me and Brainy Beaver as we once again laugh and point at the stupid. Episode 20 is all about that guy.
We're living on a disk, floating through space, with a tiny sun.
That guy, so full of Dunning-Kruger that he doesn't realise just how stupid he is. So arrogant that he cares so little for his life or the safety of others. This idiot is one of the many Flerfs that has a habit of recording themselves while driving several tons of steel powered by explosions. So I pointed this out to him in one of his videos in the comments that he should wear a seatbelt whilst driving, and this was his response. Beware when children are required. School buses don't have seatbelts. Public buses don't have seatbelt space, I'm not wearing mine. Any logical person can see that seatbelt laws are nothing but extortion. I'm a 40-year-old man, I can make my own decisions about my health. Maybe he makes a good point, maybe school buses and buses in general should have seatbelts, but it's kind of a cost-benefit analysis thing. But saying that anyone with logical thinking can see that the seatbelt law is extortion, that's a really stupid thing to say. So when you crash and die because you didn't want to wear a seatbelt, what should I tell your family? I mean, I'd advise telling them not to look at your YouTube channel. Anyway, on to the debunking. I've got a few short videos, so let's start with this one. Obligatory facepalm protection warning.
What's up, YouTube? That guy again. Just coming home from work. Just actually pulled in the driveway. I just had a quick question for all my haters.
Oh, thank God he isn't driving. It really worries me when these mouth breathers try to multitask.
First off, I actually have a couple questions. Can jets fly in a straight line?
Yeah, if by straight you mean at a constant altitude. But I bet that's not what you mean, is it? It's going to be the planes in space thing, right? That's always fun.
Yes or no? And if they flew in a straight line over a sphere, would they gain altitude? The answer to these questions are obviously yes, right?
Well, no, obviously not. Not at all, actually. This is basic. Come on. You've fallen into the stupid trap and you can't get out, huh?
Because here's a sphere and here's a straight line. You fly in a straight line, this altitude here would be gained. In 90 miles, you have a mile of curvature. Take off, level out at 10 feet. In 90 miles, you'll be a mile in the air.
Moral alert, people. I guess I have to explain some basic shit to a fully grown man again. Right, so an airplane actually flies in a pressure band. Once it reaches cruising altitude, the amount of thrust is balanced with the air pressure, and you stay at that altitude. You wouldn't fly into space, because that's impossible for a winged vehicle to do that uses the atmosphere to fly.
That's the spherical math of a 24,901 mile circumference ball. This is not a straight line. That is a curved line. Maintaining altitude is one thing, right? We're not talking about maintaining altitude. We're talking about a straight line, right? A straight line over a sphere would gain altitude, 100%.
Okay, no argument from me. A plane would never do that, so I'm not sure where you're going. I'm really worried.
There's no questions about it. So my question to the globehead is, can jets fly in a straight line? Simple question. And while you're at it, with your compass, I'm over the compass shit because it's driving me mad with people just posting, oh, they align with magnetic lines. They align with magnetic lines.
I mean, compasses do align with magnetic lines. And yeah, I guess a jet could fly in a straight line. I mean, until it reached the point that there wasn't enough atmosphere to maintain lift.
Yeah, those lines are drawn for you. They're illustrations. They're not real.
Oh my god, those are representations of the magnetic field. Do you think that we think all the things on the map or a globe are actually there? Like there's a big line with the words equator on it, you fucking idiot.
Here's the second question. If this is the North Pole and you're down here trying to point here, how is that pointing here using only the horizontal plane? Is a horizontal plane not a straight line?
You're talking about the compasses again, aren't you? You literally just said you weren't going to do that anymore? Magnetic field. The compass follows it. We've covered this.
Does is a two-dimensional line not existent in your head? Is that not exist in the globehead's world? A straight line, 2 dimensions. The compass must be laying flat. Why? Because it's using the horizontal plane and only the horizontal plane.
No, you oxygen thief. It's not. That's not how compasses work at all. As shown in this physics website, magnetic field lines are defined to have the direction that a small compass points when placed at a location. They don't use a horizontal plane at all.
So when I used that big stick in my other video where I had a giant stick, it was actually a piece of a windowsill, but it showed a long line hanging over the ball like this. That's an accurate representation of what a compass does. It points horizontally in a straight line, infinitely on either side of that little tiny needle. It doesn't just pick whenever you need it to curve over a sphere.
Dude, you said that you were done with the compass stuff, yet your second question has been all about a compass. A compass does point over a sphere because of magnetic field lines. Stop being stupid.
Because this is 2-dimensional, straight horizontal plane, and as soon as you crest, now you're talking about the 3rd dimension, the y-axis, the vertical axis. You cannot draw a line around a sphere using the horizontal plane. So please stop with it's aligning with the magnetic lines of a sphere. They are circular. The compass uses the horizontal plane. You can't change the goalpost to fit your agenda. You can't just change the physical limitations of a compass to fit your agenda. That's not how it works. That's moving the goalpost. You can't do it. Or you can, but do whatever you want to do. But you're not going to have any kind of logical debate with me if you're doing that.
A Flerf accusing us of moving the goalposts. That's adorable. We aren't moving the goalposts by explaining to you how a compass works. You should be thankful for space and satellites, etc., as you need GPS. You'd be useless finding your way with a compass.
So, airplanes fly in a straight line. The compass points in a straight line.
Nope, on both.
My question is, do straight lines exist in your world? Is there even 2 dimensions in your world? Is that even possible? Do straight lines exist?
Do straight lines exist? Do straight lines exist? I don't know. Do straight lines exist? Well, that's a question for the ages. Right, that's enough of that one. Whatever stupid have you got for me?
What's up, YouTube? That again?
Sorry, what now?
What's up, YouTube? That again?
That's what I thought you said. Carry on.
Just taking a quick run to the store. Figured I'd go over a quick little experiment that I learned about the other day that absolutely destroys gravity.
And here we go, an idiot who doesn't understand compasses is now driving around not wearing his seatbelt and using a phone. And we've seen how flat earthers' experiments go.
This is an egg.
Alright, calm down, Anthony.
Thanks to Dave Murphy from England, flat earther Dave Murphy brought this to my attention.
Ah, yes. Allegedly Dave.
Well, I've been drinking urine now for...
Drinking urine?
My morning routine is basically... I would get up, weigh my glass.
So here's the experiment. Go to Walmart, get you one of those tanks of helium that fills up birthday balloons. We've all seen them. They've sold them for a couple years now. So go get you a tank of helium. Weigh it when you get home.
Oh, right, yeah, weighing something. That requires gravity, because weight is equal to mass times gravitational acceleration?
There's compressed helium. Compressed helium is just helium that is more dense. They've compressed it to a higher density level.
This is truly amazing stuff. I hope you guys are paying attention. I mean, you know, just like he's paying fucking attention to the road.
So, when it's in the tank, it weighs 10 pounds. You set it on a scale. Maybe with the metal tank, it weighs 15 pounds. Set it on the scale. Now take that same exact helium that's in the tank and put it in a gigantic balloon, or many small balloons. Once you've emptied the tank, weigh the tank again. It should weigh 10 pounds less, or however much helium was in the tank.
Yes, well done. You've explained nicely how if the tank is empty, it will weigh less. I hope this is leading somewhere, because so far you've just explained what everyone knows. Badly.
All that you've done is made that balloon, or made that helium have room to expand and become less dense. It was compressed in the tank. You empty the tank into a balloon. That exact same 10 pounds of helium will now float away from you when you let go of the balloon. The exact same 10 pounds. Gravity cannot explain this in the least bit.
Whoopsie, you said a stupid. Off to the remedial classroom with you. Okay, everyone shut up. This is serious. Mr. Sergeant, stop staring at Miss Stare and pay attention. So, the ornamental globe that sits outside the headmaster's office is missing. I know it was one of you. If whoever did it doesn't own up, you all get detention. Sorry, Mr. Eraser? You and Slappy the Clown, Mr. Oakley took it. Would you care to explain why? You've decided it's your model. Everybody kept saying you didn't have a model, so you just stole one. Okay, both of you get out and see the headmaster. I have a feeling this lesson will be over your heads anyway. Okay, so Mr. Guy, you said that gravity can't explain why liquid helium doesn't float like gaseous helium. Well, you're a dumbass and here's why. The formula for buoyancy is FB equals rho GV, where FB is the buoyant force, rho is the density of fluid in kilograms per meters cubed, G is the gravitational acceleration of 9.8 meters per second squared, and V is the volume of fluid displaced. The density of liquid helium is 147 kilograms per meters cubed. Density of gaseous helium is 0.164 kilograms per meters cubed. The density of air is 1.3 kilograms per meters cubed. To work out the buoyant force, this is just one of the things that go into the equation, as a vector needs to be applied for something to move. This vector is given by g for gravitational acceleration. Density on its own means nothing. It's literally just mass per unit volume. Now, Mr. Riley, can you tell me why all the eggs have gone missing from the canteen? I gotta say, I was sure that clucking warrior Anthony Riley was a shoo-in for Dumbfuck of the Year 2019. But there's some stiff competition out there at the moment. Could he end up getting 3 second places in a row? Anyway, right now I need to take a break from the stupid, so over to you, Brainy Beaver.
The majestic beaver swims in the river. Did you know that beaver was another word for... I wonder why that is.
And the fact you've had to join forces with a cartoon beaver who likes to dress up as a Canadian Mountie. What is going on with the globe side? It's insane.
Oh, I'm not sure what happened there, but we got the signal back. Anyways. Oh no, it's that guy, aka Mr. Smug and So Stupid. Unfortunately for that guy, his channel has not exploded yet. I'm not a number hater, but something makes me wonder why he isn't more popular with the Flat Earth community. I'd love to see a get-together between Red Pill Philosophy and that guy. One could twirl his mustache, talk about how high his IQ is, all while pondering the existence of a dick-shaped Earth. The other? Catching some gnarly waves, bruh. Wipeout! But anyways, I was catching me some Surf Boy vids and I came across something, well, hilarious. The world's skinniest bathroom tiler is wading into the wonderful world of vacuums. A topic that I'm currently neck deep in. Since I'm willing to bet the only vacuum this guy experiences is between his ears, let's take a peek at a few of the stupid claims Tile Boy here is making.
I'll talk slowly so the globetards can understand the situation. I asked Baldy Cats to debunk my experiment where I used a vacuum, a low pressure system, to lift water from the surface of Earth, right? I'm asking how the vacuum of space and the high pressure system of the atmosphere are existing side by side without a barrier. There's a low pressure vacuum and a high pressure atmosphere and no barrier between them.
Yeah, but that's not true. First of all, your kind keep telling us that we've never been there, so how the f*** do you even know what you're talking about is right? So let's just establish that you're talking out your ass first, because you don't have any evidence of this. And to continue on with your point, or maybe I guess my point, I have said this repeatedly, you can observe the fact that we have a pressure gradient, hence the need for oxygen tanks when climbing Mount Everest.
Good, we're closing the bleeder valve. So, to get to millibar, 20 millibar vapor pressure water, that's all the way over on this side. The highest mountains in America, they would be up about here somewhere. That's, I don't know, 15, 14,000 feet, that sort of thing. Mount Everest, atmospheric pressure on Mount Everest is over here somewhere.
Oh, anybody who has not seen Thunderfoot's channel needs to go check it out. It's a real good channel. I digress. Why would it gradient slowly lower and lower and lower and not end at nothing? So there is at no point in fact a high pressure system and a low pressure system side by side. They kind of just coalesce together slowly and surely. You know, the same way that gutter meat coalesced to make you that guy?
I'm asking how the vacuum of space and the high pressure system of the atmosphere are existing side by side without a barrier. There's a low pressure vacuum and a high pressure atmosphere and no barrier between them. His rebuttal video, his answer to me, was to explain atmospheric pressure up to 0 psi. Completely ignoring the fact that space is a f***ing vacuum, right? He's completely, either he ignored it or he's that ignorant to where he doesn't even know space is a vacuum.
Yes, the stupid's getting primed. This is getting good. Okay, where do you guys think he's gonna go with this? What do you think he's gonna say? I mean, I won't lie. At this point, I'd already watched this. I know the future, so hedge your bets.
When you use atmospheric pressure, the 14.7 psi, that's the atmospheric pressure. That goes up to 0, which would be your Kármán line, okay? 0 pressure is not space. Atmospheric pressure has nothing to do with the vacuum of space and cannot be used to measure the vacuum of space.
I don't think you understand the model or atmospheric pressure. I mean...
So when you hear a globetard say, yeah, the atmosphere it's a gradient up to 0. 14.7 psi to 0. That's where they're confused. That's where their ignorance kicks in. 14.7 psi to 0 would be the top of your atmosphere, not the vacuum of space. That's where you need to switch to absolute pressure, where you change 0, the 0 point, which would be your Kármán line, in atmospheric pressure, because it only deals with the atmosphere. After that, to measure a vacuum, you need to switch to absolute pressure, where absolute 0 is a perfect vacuum.
Jesus Christ! I warned you. I've done it again. I warned you, but did you listen to me? Oh, no, you knew it all, didn't you?
That is incorrect, sir. You know what? I haven't been formally approved for this, but this calls for something special.
You're a fucking idiot.
Baldy Cats is combining the two, or saying atmospheric pressure to 0, and then that 0 is now absolute 0. He's retarded, people.
Alright, Tile Boy, listen here.
Ignorant.
Hey, are you gonna let me
Fucking ignorant. Sorry, it is. Stupid. Either intellectually dishonest or f***ing stupidity.
Okay, breathe, okay. You know what? I have to step outside for some air. So hold on a second, I'll be right back.
14.7 psi to 0 is just the atmosphere. Has nothing to do with the vacuum of space. That's why I've been saying for 5 days now that you've explained it to the Kármán line. Big deal. That's explained. Our atmosphere is explained. And that's why it needs to be contained. According to science.
What the hell is mercury with chalk?
Science! And red flannel. Red flannel? There's shirt in here?
Pieces of shirt.
Okay, thank you very much.
So, Baldy, this is to you, brother. Stop being a coward-ass bitch and own up to your ignorance. Okay? Man to man, I'm not crazy. I'm a little triggered because of your fucking arrogance and your ignorance and your hubris and your Dunning-Kruger nonsense. You've been called out, bro.
Bruh, I'm calling you out, bruh. Come on, bruh. Anyways, I started cutting shit out because it's just a lot of nothing, but I'm going to allow him to get to his point so I can finally get to mine. I have a couple tools beside me and I'd like to teach him some things.
14.7 psi to 0 is atmospheric. Now switch to absolute pressure and tell me how it works. Explain the actual problem with your insane space ball.
Spaceballs?
So now everybody's clear. We've clarified the shit, right? 0 on that scale is not absolute 0. That's atmospheric pressure 0. And then there's gauge pressure, which is like filling your tire, 30 psi. Gauge is just 30 pounds higher than atmospheric pressure of 14.7. They just make 14.7 the 0 now. That's all they do in scaling. In gauge pressure, 0 would be 14.7 psi. In atmospheric pressure, 0 is 0 psi. In absolute pressure, 0 is a perfect vacuum, which can never be achieved. And vacuum scaling, the pressure of vacuum is not linear. Meaning 2 torr to 1 torr is nowhere near the same pressure difference as 1 torr to 0 torr.
So this is well, I'd like to say a common mistake, but how many common people are walking around just talking about air pressure? He has created 3 designations for PSI when there is really only one. PSI-A, some call absolute, some call it atmospheric. No matter, they are the same. You have PSI-A and PSI-G. He has seen it written differently and thus has had his eureka moment, probably ran through the house like a lunatic, waking his wife, shaking the kids out of bed. Come on, it's amazing, the earth, it's so flat. But, 1 torr is equal to 1/760th of a standard atmosphere pressure. So it's not some sort of negative pressure, it's just far, far, far less pressure than here on Earth. This is like what that guy thinks is happening with space. Like everybody thinks it's some sort of negative pressure and that,
Suck! Suck! Suck!
Okay, so what we have here is a vacuum pump, a gauge set, broken high pressure gauge on whichever side it ends up being on that comes across in the camera. But you can see there's the low pressure gauge here, and I can't pull it, it's kind of attached to stuff right now, but you can see there's the 0 point there in the black. We're actually a little below it because I was playing around and there's a little bit of a vacuum still in there. But if you look, 0 psi, and then there's that red section on the bottom there. And that is the 30 inches of water column, which would be a perfect vacuum, unattainable. That is true. So we're just going to hang that there. Now what we have here is we have a Micron gauge, okay? So we use this to check the vacuum of our systems when we're pulling, well, especially big systems, but any system down. And this one goes all the way from atmosphere, 760,000 microns, or millimeters of mercury, all the way down to 1 micron, which is well below a 1 torr vacuum. 760 torr at atmosphere, all the way down to, I think 1 torr is 101 pascals. But we will be able to pull below 101 pascals, which is about it's about 750 microns. We're going to get down to 600, so fairly quickly. After that, it's going to slow down a lot. So we'll show you just, I don't know, how that guy doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. When this thing hits totally zero, which is extremely impossible to do, but I've gotten it down below 50. If it hits zero, there's no molecules left in the system that are detaching, at least anyways. There could be some stuff stuck to walls and stuff, but it's essentially almost a pure vacuum, which is impossible, but we'll get close fairly quickly too. So watch this. Just gonna flip the pump on, and we're just gonna watch this thing. Open the valves here so it's ready to go. Now remember, at 750 microns, we're below 1 torr. That means we've gone all the way from 760 torr to 1 torr. Open the valve there. I still have a closed valve, and boom, we're below a torr. Holy shit, 14 minutes. All right, I'm Brainy Beaver. That guy's a f***ing idiot, and I'm out of here. Thanks for having me.
Thanks very much for that, Brainy. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the Canadian Platypus. Next up is that guy talking to us about common sense.
YouTube, that guy again, just driving to work real quick on this nice Monday.
Put on your fucking seatbelt and stop using your phone to record a video whilst driving. And you're right, it looks like a lovely morning. So why in the name of Satan are your sunglasses on top of your hat and not covering your fucking eyes?
Just had to go over the rotating Earth again real quick. And here's a really simple experiment that globetards should all do. I don't have to do it because I have what's known as common sense and I can think and visualize things.
No, of course you don't need to do the experiments. You are a flat earther. You don't give two shits about actually doing anything to prove the shape of the Earth. I'm measuring the shape of the Earth with over 1,000 people in my Project Eratosthenes at the end of July, and I've asked countless flat earthers to take part, but none of them will, because they know that if they add their data point, they will help confirm that the Earth is a sphere.
Here's an experiment. If you have kids, or you know some people that have kids, they always have toys that shoot a little projectile, right? Nerf guns, little toys that shoot little missiles or whatever. Grab one of these. Go outside, face west, shoot the thing. Face east, shoot it. Measure the distance the projectile went away from you. They should be the same distance. Now, get on a bicycle, skateboard, a car, sit on the tailgate of a truck, and get moving, right? Just move, 5 miles per hour, whatever. Use the same gun, or the same Nerf gun, or whatever you just used. And now, as you're moving, shoot the projectile towards the direction of motion and against the direction of motion. Measure the distance the projectile went from you. It's a no-brainer, right? Like, we don't need to do this, do we?
No, you fucking idiot thing, we don't, because it is a no-brainer. What your problem is that you don't understand relative motion. As the bike is travelling and you fire your Nerf gun, from the point that you fired the Nerf projectile, it will still have travelled the same distance as if you weren't moving. But you are moving. If you fire it in front of you, by the time it hits the ground, it appears to have travelled less because you've made up some of the distance. I really shouldn't be explaining this to a grown man. I think Conspiracy Cats put it best.
But now pull your big pants on, grow up, and start asking serious questions. You are embarrassing yourself with this nonsense. Genuinely, right? It's ridiculous. Grow up.
I want to say a massive thank you to all my patrons. Your support allows me time to focus on my channel and do what's important, bringing you great content and fighting the flat earth. I want to say an extra massive thank you to my $200 patrons, Christopher Kane and Jeffrey Sloan. If you'd like to join and become part of the FTFE team, go to patreon.com/FTFE. And thank you. Thanks for watching. Come back this weekend where I present the world's first ever flat earth model. If you've enjoyed this video, please leave a thumbs up, subscribe if you're not already, and hit the notification bell so you never miss any of my premieres or live streams. Remember, stupidity is not a right. Fight the flat earth. Fight the flat. Fight the flat.